Hey everybody, and welcome back to the DJ interview series. I'm Stitcharoo. I have the Friendly Phantom here with me, and we're gonna do the deep dive. So
Ooh,
tell
deep
us
dive.
right off the bat, what did you do interesting to prepare for your Club Fin set?
What I do interesting. Uh Honestly, like this is probably going to be my most ambitious set in terms of just like taking it to a whole nother level in terms of how many so given that I'm doing multi-genre, I kind of jump from different places throughout my hour that I'm being more or less just put on stage for everybody to see. And more or less with that is usually I go, okay, I'll do a little bit of, drum and bass here, and then we'll go into, just your standard rhythm, and maybe finish up with some hard style. And it's only ever been a handful of them. With this, it's kind of like I'm going all over the place with this. So
Kitchen sink?
yeah, literally, yes, that would be the best way I would put it.
What is some of your technique that you do to link these different genres? Because there could be like a lot
Oh
of
goodness.
wild different sounds. So how do you keep those kind of together into a coherent set?
So my methodology behind it is a little, I would say, unorthodox. Kind of just I find a handful of songs that I really like. Something that's like, oh, this would sound great in a set of mine. Kind of get some inspiration drawn from it. And next thing I know, I'm putting together a whole library of I just grab whatever I can. Oh, this sounds great. Oh, this is related to this. This sounds cool. We'll throw that in there. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, maybe we'll put it somewhere else. And then I go from there. But I grab, massive library worth of stuff to pull from, and I kind of just start putting things together. Eventually those, two different songs might mash together. There'll be a nice little mashup, or I'll get a series of 3, 4, 5 different songs, and I have the little chunks, and then it's a matter of like getting those chunks into a more cohesive full set. By the end of it, you have whatever kind of madness I have concocted up.
It's a lot of knowing your music and listening to it as well. Like not
Oh
just
my
hearing
gosh.
it, but like hearing all the nuances that can go coherently with other songs.
Most definitely, yeah. No, there's definitely been situations where it's like just by accident too. I've kind of tried to transition out of a certain song, and I'll just plug another one in, just be like, "Oh, what's this sound like?" And next thing I know, it's the best freaking transition in my entire set. So
Heyo.
where it goes from there is just it's all over the place, and I love that like with the way I go about it, it has some very unexpected surprises, and it keeps things fresh because, you know, rehearsing this, as many times as I know some may do as much as I do as well, it can get a little boring hearing the same like song like 100 times over. So to
When you
mix
get an
that up a bit,
earworm.
don't even get me started on the earworms. The earworms are so bad. It's
So, Phantom, what has your experience been in VR? And if you've done live shows before, what is sort of the difference between VR and live? Live is in like real world, meet space.
So, in terms of like my experience regarding DJing and everything like that, before really getting involved with VR, it was kind of just real casual stuff. It would be, friends at, their houses. They would be getting get-togethers. They'd be like, "Oh, hey, you do music stuff. You could put that stuff together and play music for us." And it was like, "Am I getting paid?" But
An exposure.
they paid me in food, and I'm not complaining about that. So
That's
that's
fair.
that's
Beer
a
and pizza goes
surefire
a long
way.
way.
Oh, you have no idea. Beer and pizza at a summer pool party cookout. Oh, I'm there. I'm there in a heartbeat. But it was between that and, you know, occasionally like through college and everything, and I would just kind of, you know, mess around. Went to school for, you know, some manner of entertainment industry degree. Never really finished it. Much of like the institutional learning, I kind of had my own
It
methodology
wasn't
of
very
going.
entertaining.
No, exactly. No, for something that was all about entertainment, it wasn't that entertaining. So, but I kind of bounced around place to place when it came to live prior to getting into VR. Afterwards, though, I found, you know, Furality with like Club Finn. I found the different, like the mass of virtual clubs that are out there right now, and just started really getting invested with it again. I had a lot of friends that, you know, are still around even to today that kind of have inspired me and kicked my ass to kind of, you know, hey, you should get back into doing this. You have this like ability to do so, and, you know, nothing's stopping you. So just keep going at it, keep pushing, and, you know, see where it takes you. And and ta-da, here we are. But in
Yeah,
terms of
VR
that,
clubs have been having a renaissance.
yeah, it's actually wild how immersive the scene has gotten. Just how many different clubs have popped up, how big some of these like more household names have gotten. And it's really inspiring to see just how many lives it's touched, how many people.
Yeah,
It's just I'm actually at a loss of words at this point, really, because of just how long a time it was before getting involved versus how short of a span I've gone from just myself reigniting that spark and getting back on track with everything to getting to where I am.
for sure. So let's talk a little bit about that spark and go back in time. What was the Phantom's inspiration to start DJing?
Oh my goodness. So life story here with this a little bit. Honestly, music has kind of always been a little bit of an integral part of my life.
I was a
Uh
dancer.
my no, not quite. but but for me it was mostly a matter of like I had family that, you know, danced and sang and played instruments and were very expressive about it. Myself, I, you know, started learning music in like the 4th grade. Self-taught myself how to be a percussionist, drummer, and everything.
Recorder, hot cross buns.
Oh, the days, the good days of hot cross buns on the recorder. I can still play it too. But from there, it was just a matter of, you know, going up through the different grades, getting more advanced, more involved with music, getting out of high school, out of grade school, testing the waters of, you know, getting into this new crazy scene of, you know, electronic dance music. And I'm like, wow, this
Were
stuff
you
sounds
marching
pretty
band?
cool. I was marching band. Yeah, actually, I was drum captain in high school. We my
Oh,
freshman
nice.
year, the guy that was our captain quit my freshman year. So all the way through high school, I was the next in line. I was like, oh, no
Oh,
pressure or
wow.
anything.
But yeah, so you made
Yeah,
your transition into VR.
yeah. It came out of nowhere, really. Prior
Like
to it,
VR does.
yeah, it really, like, I had never heard of it prior. I never even knew VR chat was a thing. You know, early 2022. Was it 2022? Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's been 2 years now. Goodness. Early 2022, I hopped in. I found out about it. I was on desktop for, you know, the first 4 months that I was in VR, and bounced around to different places. Found a club that I actually saw after getting a commission done for, you know, my character, my main character, to get them done, and check their page and everything that they had on there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, come to this club. This club is really cool. We do this once a month." And I'm like, "Wow, A virtual cult nightclub? That
We
sounds
do it
cool.
every month.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and that was in April of 2022.
What club
Joined
was that?
there. That was Vibe Night. That it was back when they
Oh,
used when they used some of their old worlds. Um, Joined there, and some of the friends that I met that night are still around to this day, and they're some of the people who have actually helped me stay inspired to get to where I'm at right now. So it ch-
killer.
it in the manner of 6 hours that I was in there during that event completely changed my life 180 degrees.
So, Phantom, that leads into this next question pretty much directly. Who are you looking up to and getting your inspiration from in DJing these days?
So it's a mix of personal inspiration, like friends of mine that I know who have been doing this for a long while, as well as more further out there inspirations. For those who are closer to me, names like Loprov and Kaiju come to mind in terms of just how long that they've been in the scene, how much work they put into what they do every single time they step up on stage.
Kaiju's
And
good beans.
also, yeah, exactly. And not only are they these immensely talented people, but they are super personable, super social, just all around great people.
Kaiju
And
has great hair.
very true. Yes. But like in aspect of the more out there names like Illenium, ISOXO, Knock 2, Crank That, big names like that kind of have shapen what my sound I go for and kind of who I take from in terms of the kind of vibes that I want to go for. Maybe down the line that maybe even going into eventually trying to produce something of my own. Who
Oh,
knows?
that's pretty kick-ass. And talking about like wanting to produce something that takes hardware and software. So that is our next question. Tell us about the hardware and software that you use while for all your mixing.
So I kind of I can't help but laugh at myself sometimes whenever I kind of look and see we kind of we as creatives kind of tend to compare ourselves to others, and it can sometimes get the best of us, but I have to remind myself that I'm still starting out, relatively speaking. um but currently I am using record box and a DDJ 200. So
Oh,
we're
nice.
really we're really kicking it at like the beginner levels in terms of hardware and software, and it's actually starting to get to that point where I've noticed that my my own developments have kind of started to like overstep what my technology like limits me to.
But hey, man, no, do not knock the smaller equipment. Like, I've got a Newmark Party Mix 2, and that tiny little cheap plastic thing has saved my ass in some live shows a
Oh
couple
yeah.
times.
Don't get me wrong, like I absolutely love setup that I have. I've become so more or less just accustomed to working with what I have, and I'm comfortable with it. I'm happy with it, and it gets the job done at the end of the day. So
And it's travel size.
exactly. No, that definitely makes it so much more convenient. Mhm,
And lastly, I always like to end these interviews with kind of the same question posed to
mhm,
everybody because we do something that's crazy, and there's a lot of people that would love to start doing it, but they have no idea what to do. So, what's a piece of
mhm.
advice that you could give somebody just starting out?
It's something that I struggle with myself on, and it kind of comes back to that previous comment that I made to where we like to compare ourselves to others as creatives. Um, an accompaniment to that would be we are our own worst critic. I think everybody, whether they are, just starting out or they've been doing this for 20 years can say, you know, at the end of the day, we are still criticizing ourselves the most harshly out of any source. And my own way to kind of get through that I've discovered is to realize that there is always room for improvement. No matter how long you've been doing this, whether it's day one or your end of your first decade of doing this, there's always room to improve. And so long as you're improving, so long as you're enjoying what you're doing, and that passion is still there, it it may not take immediate action, but one day it does work out. At the end of everything all said and done, a good I guess I could say a good indicator of to know if you're on the right track and you're doing the right thing and really pushing yourself to the next level to achieve those goals you may have is advice that was brought to me by one of my professors, who told me that if you get up on stage or you prepare yourself a set or performance and you find yourself being nervous about it, that's how you know that you still care. And it shows that you still have that passion, you still have that drive to do your absolute best. So long as you're doing that, and so long as that nervous tick still exists, and you know that that spark is still there, there's no limit to where you can go with that. One step
Don't
at a
sweat the
time.
small stuff. Keep pushing forward.
Exactly.
But yeah, I definitely hear you about being your own worst critic, because like I usually play for other DJs. I don't really play just randomly, if that makes any sense. Like when I'm DJing. So I know that every mistransition, every phrase that's slightly out of sync, every
Oh
little
my.
slip, pause in the music, all the stuff. When you hit stop on the production platter,
Mm-hmm.
because you're trying to transition to the next one, but you,
Mm-hmm.
you hit the wrong button,
I
you know.
the amount of
And it's
times,
really hard not to let that like eat you up as you're doing it. But in
of course.
reality, the crowd doesn't know. They have
Yeah,
no
no,
idea. They will not know a
we
mistransition. They will not know a disc slip. They will not know any of that. Just
yeah,
you,
no,
because you're the one up there doing it.
the amount of times that I've had, you know, like I'll sit there and I'll kick myself in the ass in the middle of something because I missed a cue by 0.03 seconds. And it's like, no, I messed up. How could I have done this? And everyone's like, yeah, that was awesome. Keep going, man. And I'm just like, oh shit, okay, never mind.
Yeah, my favorite though is hitting the stop on the wrong platter because all the music stops because you hit the stop button, and I know
Right.
I do it right when I hit it, and I just scream into the audience, expletive, and then I hit it again, and people just think it's part of the show, but it's me being all like, oh, I screwed up bad.
I've seen so many implications of the audience doesn't know when you're gonna mess up, so just
Right.
roll with it.
Right? Fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Phantom, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. And thank you all for watching the Club FYNN Deep Dives. We'll catch you at the next interview. Bye.